And now podcasting from the great state of Alaska, your hosts, Scott, Eric, and Tim. This is the Upper One Podcast.
We did change the intro. But we're back. We're full on summer. It's been 70 degrees. And we're limiting our podcast to every other week now, but we're back.
And it's definitely summer. I've been up on the roof working.
You've been in our podcast room working?
I've been in the podcast room working. I've got the guitars hanging on the wall. I got it looking good.
One of our plans, and I'm still working on it, is to do some live broadcast while we're doing this podcast, and so you'll be able to see what we're doing. But up until then, I think we're going to do a couple pictures. We'll get some photos posted up on our page, but it's looking good.
Heck yeah, man! I'm
glad I got it started with that lunchbox up there. I got it all started doing that. Well, and the pick set I gave you.
Well, I don't know if I would say that that's what started it, but it looks good up there. It definitely looks good.
And we've got a since we're a green state, we've got a green sign over here on this side that came from the business.
Compliments of Tim.
That's right.
Tim made that.
Tim did build that for the business that
absolutely
no longer a part of, but
that's all right. No, Tim made it, and we made sure that we brought it home with us. And when we get some pictures out there, you guys will know what we're talking about.
He's here now, so have him switch those to solid. What the hell?
Well, I did have it to solid, and all of a sudden it decided it had a mind of its own, and it wants to flash.
When you turn it off, it resets it.
Really?
Yeah.
And I haven't turned it off.
No?
So, I don't know. We'll look at it later.
We've had a few things going since the last time we talked. Everything's opened back up. Some of them, I mean, Eric had a little adventure with the business, but even though the governor and the local mayors are opening stuff back up, it's still the business's discretion at what they do and how they.
And I can understand that, but I'm.
Well, let's just talk about it. We don't have to. We don't have to name the business, but.
I want to. I want to. And I want to put a plug in for another business because of this.
So Eric, we're in the podcast room, which is also the sound room at Eric's house. We got guitars on the wall, and Eric's going and looking for a guitar strap.
So I decide I'm gonna run over to Guitar Center, and I pull up there and.
You made me spit beer all over my microphone, Eric.
There you go. Well, I pull into Guitar Center, and I figured I'll take a second, and I'll just watch and see how people are going in and see if they're open. And sure enough, I see some people line up, and I see them putting their masks on, So I said, all right, I'll take my mask, and I'll walk over there, and I'll put my mask on. So I put my mask on, go over there, stand in line. And we're standing out there for probably a good 5 minutes or so. Finally, one customer walks out of the store. And then we stand there for another 3 or 4 minutes. And then finally an employee comes out. And he says, welcome to Guitar Center. And gives us his spiel about everybody has to leave their mask on while they're in the store. Don't grab any guitars off the wall, get with an associate and they will work with you on handling the guitars and that. Of course, I'm not there for a guitar, but so he goes through his whole spiel and asks if everybody's okay with that. And we all said that us that were standing in line said yes. So he says, all right, well, go ahead and let's go on in. And he invites the little family right in front of me, father and 2 sons, invites them into the store. And I said, and he says, are you with them? And I said, no, I'm not with them. He says, oh, well, then you'll have to wait out here. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I look in the store, there's probably only 2 other people in the store. And now this one little small group of people, I'm just going for a strap, you know? And they tell me I got to wait. I said, heck with that. I said, I'm done with you guys. I'll keep my business with Mammoth Music down on Fifth Avenue in Anchorage, Alaska. They will take care of you. And that's it. I'm done with Guitar Center. I think that's a joke. I mean, I understand being cautious. I had my mask on. They had their mask on. CDC has said that the coronavirus really does not spread by touch, you know, but for them to have that big store and only going to allow like 5 people at a time in there after the city is opened back up and everybody's supposed to be back to full business, that pissed me off, you know, so I'm done with them. I'm done. I will keep my business with Mammoth Music out on Fifth Avenue. Take your business there.
On the other hand, I went to a home improvement store, which I won't name unless they want to pay me. But the parking lot was jam-packed. And there was people wearing masks, people not wearing masks. However, I was looking for something, and I got too close to one of the employees, and he asked me if I would please back up at least 6 feet. I didn't buy anything because they didn't have what I wanted, but
Was it the orange or the blue?
I won't say.
I would have asked him, why, are you sick?
Well,
I was tempted to.
You said they were busy.
I was tempted to cough, and then say, "Okay."
You said they were busy, and the
They
wife and
were
I
packed.
The wife and I had gone to one of the similar big name home improvement stores, one that used to sponsor a Hendrick car. But they were busy the day we were in it too. So I didn't know what the heck was going on. You know, like I said, the government says one thing and you abide by all that. But when you get to the state level at the governors, they can supersede that as long as they're following those mandates or whatever. The governor can say, oh, well, we're going to go above this. And then same with the mayors at the local level.
Yeah, well, and that's what happened to Anchorage is the mayor kept us shut down.
And like an extra week than the governor
did.
Well, in the same shopping center as the Guitar Center, there's another store that had like a reopening sale, and there were more cars in that parking lot than I have ever seen there before.
Well,
they let so many people in there to go shopping.
If you guys didn't get to hear the interview with Coach Kern for the last episode, but he did say people are trying to get creative as to what they're doing as we're getting things open back up, and this sale is probably people are getting anxious.
Yeah.
I don't think, and this is not a political statement, but I just think this is on the human level, people are not buying into what is going on as much as what is being said.
Well, part of me thinks that this is starting to get crazy. Like I said, CDC has said that this disease this virus cannot be really passed by touch.
It said it's less likely that you'll catch
a
surface
from a touch
than you will from airborne.
Yeah, exactly.
So if everybody wears a mask and continues to wash their hands and
well, let's go away. We are getting open. It's been a few weeks. Let's
not
get on
open enough. I'm mad. I am mad.
It's not like you really need that strap today.
I had my mind all set on getting a nice new guitar strap today.
Well, then go to a local store and give them your money.
Like I said, if I didn't have to pee so bad, I would have made that trip up to Fifth Avenue, but I had to get home. Of course, I had the wife calling me also.
Yeah, you had to make a LIQUO double run.
Something like that.
Something, I don't know. Liquor run.
Something like that.
Well, school's been out. The kids, they've, I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I interviewed the twins in here while you guys weren't in here one day. And, I think if it's all right with you guys, we will go into that interview, what these kids are thinking about things. You know, now that school's being out, how they had to adjust with not actually going to school.
It had to have been a major blow to them.
Yeah. So we'll give it a minute, and we'll play the twins interview, and then we'll be right back.
Sounds good.
All right, welcome back to the Upper One podcast. I have a couple of very special guests in here that are really dear to my heart. My 10-year-old twins, Tristan and Kaylee. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good.
Kaylee?
I said good.
Okay. I almost couldn't hear you because you and Tristan talked at the same time.
Say like this.
Well, yeah, you can do that, but you don't have to be that close. So, what has been going on? We're getting into summer. What's been going on? Tristan?
Nothing really, but
No?
the coronavirus happened.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Do you remember when that happened?
it happened this year.
Well, like 58 days ago.
It did?
It's been like 58 days. It's been almost 2 months ago.
Oh,
So what happened with that, Kaylee? What happened when the coronavirus happened?
We had to. It was the end of spring break, and like we were like just going back to school.
Yeah,
Or, like we went to school for like 2 days, and then
they sent everybody home.
yeah, they sent everybody home, and then it got so bad that we had to stay back home and do our work home for the rest of the year.
So what did they do? How did you guys do your schoolwork, Tristan, when you guys were at home? What did you guys do?
we had to go to this one website, but me and Kaylee downloaded the app of the website, and we can go in the app and then check out what our assignments are.
Were you guys still in touch with your teachers?
Yes.
How did you do that, Kaylee?
On Zoom.
On Zoom? So you could see your teachers, and what else? Who else was on was there anybody else on Zoom?
Yeah, our students.
all
the
your
students.
classmates?
Yeah.
Yeah. How was that? Was that fun?
Yes, that was really fun.
So you get to keep in touch?
Yeah, but I think they should take off the part where you can't see their faces, because some kids don't show their faces.
Oh, so they
So we
were
don't know
not
who
turning
they
their
are.
videos on?
Yeah, so we don't know who they are. Like if they change one person, her name's Jide, and she changed her name to Me, Mee, and Miss Helma didn't know who it was, and she didn't have her face camera on,
Yeah.
so Miss Helma didn't know who it was.
Tristan's drinking a Dr. Pepper and he dropped his bottle cap on the floor.
I don't like Dr. Pepper.
So, what else was there anything cool that came by doing? I mean, you guys got to be home all the time, but was there anything really cool and awesome getting to do that?
Yeah, we get to spend more time with our parents.
Yeah,
Yeah,
except me,
except you.
because we live in different houses right now. So we agreed that it wasn't safe for you guys to come spend time with me during this, right?
Yep.
But we did get to do the
time.
FaceTime a lot, huh? We FaceTime, so I get to see you, and I called you guys every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Kaylee, what was cool with you besides what Tristan said?
Wait, what did he say?
He said
that he gets to spend
spending more
with
time at
kids.
home with everybody, with your family.
I think the cool part was that the Zoom, that's a cool part.
Yeah. You want to know what I did on Zoom?
What?
So, I don't think Kaylee's been there yet, but do you remember when we went to Odd Man Rush and we got to hang out with Bobby Hill?
Yes, and I remember when he was riding his horse in the hockey game.
Yeah, riding his hockey stick as a horse. Yeah. So on Thursday nights, we would go down to the brewery and go have a drink and talk and be with our friends. And Bobby Hill and his dad was one of them. Well, since we couldn't do that, we got on Zoom and we just saw everybody's faces and we got to talk back and forth on Zoom. That's what I did. That was cool. So what else did I think Tristan's teacher? You guys had something that you guys were doing. One of your assignments. Do you remember what that was?
Yeah, I had to do a typing thing.
Well, tell me what the typing thing was.
It was about the journals.
That was part of your assignment stuff?
Yeah, it was like our everyday journals.
What,
we do
Kaylee,
every
what was
day.
your idea?
Well, I didn't do this, but I think I was gonna do it, but I haven't. I have to catch up on it. But they learned about how pencils were made.
Oh, well, that's not what I was talking about. What's this?
Tristan did. That's a
That's a
pen.
pen,
Pen and
paper.
when you're friends, what do you call your friends sometimes? Not a friend, it's did you do some pen pal stuff?
Oh
Pen
yeah.
pal.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
now you don't have to tell me who you were writing to, but you know when
I
you're
didn't do a pen pal.
yeah, Tristan did.
To who?
I don't know, but all I know is they are in Taiwan right now.
Was it Taiwan?
Yes.
Oh, the Chinese
Yep.
kids that came.
Yeah.
They came to
So
my class too.
so for those of you, Tristan and Kaylee, they're in 5th grade, and they go to Scenic Park Elementary in Anchorage, Alaska. Well, Scenic Park Elementary is a Chinese immersion school, so they learn a little bit about Chinese culture. And so Tristan's class was writing pen pal letters to other students in, you said Taiwan. So Taiwan is kind of a part of China, but it's not really China. So we don't want to get into all that. But what it is, what makes it really cool is you write to somebody that you don't know and you become friends that way. That's really cool without all the stuff that's behind everything like politics and all that, right? That's really cool. Did you get a letter back yet, or have you?
I don't really know.
Yeah, I think Miss Oswald was going to get some stuff out this week. I can't remember, but I used to do that. I think I was in 4th grade, 3rd or 4th grade. I did a pen pal to Great Britain, somebody that lived in England, and I learned. And I don't know if I still have letters somewhere, but I did pen pal stuff.
I know.
So now, you guys, when is the last day of school?
This next Thursday.
Thursday. Are you guys excited about that?
Yes.
No,
No? Why?
because we were. Well, it's not just because of this reason, but it's because the last day of school is supposed to be the last time you see your friends and get to have recess with them. And
Yeah.
you can't do that with Corona.
No,
And because-
listen, we all had to change our lives because of this virus and what's going on, and it's not fun. But when things aren't going to get back to normal, but when they do get to whatever a new normal is, you still will be able to resume and go back to what you're doing, right? You get to things are going to change a little bit, but it's going to be different.
Yeah, but we won't be able to go back to 5th grade.
But don't you want to go into 6th grade?
Yeah, but
And you're going to have all kinds of other friends too, because 5th grade is middle school, right?
Yes.
now 6th grade.
6th grade. You're right. So you're going to go into middle school. Where's middle school at?
Baggage.
Baggage Middle School.
And on the bus.
Yeah, you get to ride the bus.
Scared
And
of
also,
buses.
pretty much all of her friends, except for Brooklyn, is not going to Baggage.
They're not going to go to Baggage.
No, they
Brooklyn.
are.
Brooklyn is the only one that's not going to go to Baggage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I don't know about
She's going to a
Korea.
college gate.
oh, that's right. Yeah, she's got to go to another
She
school.
lives in Sillery.
Yeah, I know.
Kaylee.
Um,
Kalia definitely is. She said that she's going to Baggage.
So, but the cool thing about going to a middle school like that is there's more students and they come from other schools. So guess who Tristan gets to probably have class, and you will too. You might have.
Chinese. No.
No.
Do you remember when Tristan played basketball?
My teammate, Luifi, Beef.
And there might be maybe one or two other guys from the team too that might be going to Baggage, but
Really? Will it be the short guy?
no, I don't know who all, but you get to meet new people.
I think his name was Isaac.
I don't remember Tristan, but
Redhead?
you guys will get to go. The cool thing about this is you're going to have different teachers now. You're going to have to go. You go to a class for a little bit of time, and then you come out of class, and then you go right into another class. So you might have a math teacher over here, and then an English teacher, and then you might go to PE.
But don't you have to grab like your books and through your lockers and
Yeah,
stuff?
and they give you time in between classes like that, because what this is doing is just preparing you for high school. Yeah. Anyways,
I don't learn.
with that being said, with the last couple weekends, things have kind of gotten relaxed on the coronavirus, right? So what have you guys done?
We've been mostly doing our schoolwork.
No, I'm talking about weekends. The schoolwork, we've already talked about schoolwork. So what have you guys been doing on the weekends?
Last week, I played with my volleyball friend Kaylani at her house. Well, not in her house, but like outside.
Last weekend, we went camping in Soldotna.
Oh, you didn't go to Kinnick?
No,
No, we went to Kenai.
Jason said that we went to Soldotna.
No, we went to Kenai, the rec
Well,
center.
Just so everybody knows, Kenai and Soldotna are 5 miles apart from each other, and one city is over here and one city's over there. So it could have been in the same area and thought you were in one and been in the other. But you went camping.
Yes.
Did you take the motorcycles with you?
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was fun. I crashed 2 times.
Why are you crashing? You've been riding.
I know.
Are you just getting too excited?
No.
No.
I was riding, and then because I had Brooklyn on the back of me, but it wasn't her fault. It was like the weird dirt and stuff. So I was riding, and I went all the way, and then
Full throttle.
Yes, and I went like slowed down. Then I think I might have hit something, and then it all went like this. The
So
first time.
so it was probably like sand, and it got real soft that you
Yeah.
weren't expecting, right?
And
Yeah.
then we
Because guess what? Daddy used to ride motorcycles too. I know all about that.
And then we flipped over. But then the second time, we also like landed on our side, but I lunged forward and hit my neck on the
Handlebars.
not the hand,
Oh,
the middle center part with
the
the pad.
yeah, I
But
know
it
what
hurt.
she's talking about.
Oh.
Probably because Brooklyn it's because Brooklyn was hanging on to me, and then I stepped on the brakes, right, and then we lunged forward, and then it all fell over, and then what's her name?
But listen, are you having fun riding motorcycles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jacob got a motorcycle, the one, and that's the first ever motorcycle he will even ride.
Wow.
Yeah.
Without someone.
Yep.
So we're gonna stay the weekend at my house out there in Eagle River.
Times.
So yeah, we're gonna stay out. It was really hot when I came to pick you guys up. You know, it said 70 degrees on the thermometer on the truck. Yeah, that's warm, huh?
Dang.
So there's been a lot of stuff going on in Eagle River. Did you guys get to see the military flyovers? Did you see the planes flying?
Yes.
Yes.
I did.
I got some pretty good pictures of
No, I
that.
didn't.
So, hopefully we have a really good weekend. But I want to thank you guys for coming and joining me on the Upper One podcast. There's a couple people that are family that of mine that are or yours too, but on my side that listen. Who do you guys think you want to say hi to?
I want to say
Hi.
hi to Papa.
Hi, Nana and Papa
And Uncle Kevin.
and Uncle
Uncle
Kevin.
Kevin.
You know, Uncle Kevin has 2 babies, right? Javen and Christian.
Yep.
Well, Javen's talking already. I think he's if he's not 3, he's almost 3. But he's talking in sentences. And
Sentences.
yep. And Uncle Kevin they were playing a game with him to learn colors, and he had a flashlight, and they put these colored papers, different color papers around the room.
Oh, like construction paper.
Like
Colored
construction paper, yes.
paper.
And so they taped it to the walls in different areas. And Javen had the flashlight. And Javen's mom would stand behind here and video or Uncle Kevin would video, and Javen's mom would pull the different color card out and tell him what color, and he would point the flashlight at the color, and he got them all correct.
So would she say it, and then he?
Yeah, she would say if it's red, and then he would look around and he point the flashlight at red, and then blue and yellow.
And he got them all.
And he was
right.
getting, Javen, he
Did
knows.
he say them all?
I think he was saying the colors. Yeah, he was doing really good. And then little Christian, I think he's about it. He's a year old now. Yeah, and he's walking all over the place. And when we got on the FaceTime, he would come to try to get Uncle Kevin's phone because he was watching. Yeah,
Because he was watching what?
he was watching me on the video, and he was trying to grab the phone.
Oh.
He's a little cutie. So with that being said, I think we're going to dim the lights and shut the door and end this episode with Tristan and Kaylee. Thank you guys.
Funny thing about the rainbow, brown, the reason why it's not in the rainbow is because it's just a darker orange.
What?
Yeah.
How does talking about brown end our segment on talking on the podcast,
We're
Tristan?
talking about colors.
That goes into
I know,
the
but
colors.
I was ending things. So we say we're gonna dim the lights and shut the door on this episode of Tristan and Kaylee. First time on the podcast. Thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye.
Okay,
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was a good perspective from little fifth graders, my twins, and how they're dealing with what they're going through with, not being able to see their friends at school and how to readjust doing school from home and their Zoom meetings with their class. So,
Yeah, that's got to be a different concept, and I know I've been going through it with Danica, my daughter, 8 years old, and she's been doing pretty well. I mean, she's got the local kids in the neighborhood that, that we feel confident about our tight-knit community that we live in, that their parents have been doing proper things, and we allow our kids to play together. And but that is definitely something that's got to be a burden on them. That's
well, as of this recording, school's out. They're officially done with school. Mine are moving on to middle school, so they're going to have a little bit more of a experience with school next year, where they're going to have to be going back and forth to different classes and different teachers. Danica still has a few more years before that happens, but
that's good. Thank God.
And you?
Me, I don't have any children at home. Mine are grown. They're done with school. Both of mine have
One's a doctor.
gone through college. Yes, my oldest daughter is a doctor of psychology.
I think he's just rubbing it in.
And she has school-age children, so she's dealing with it.
Well, I hope that she's enjoying them. That's my niece, but I hope she's enjoying them. And like I said, I got one more.
Well, after all that's said and done, a little bit more stuff that's happening local is we have previously talked on a previous podcast about, the intent of things opening back up.
Kenny's back out playing live.
Yes, right. A few weekends ago, one weekend when I didn't have my kids, I had hoped the wife and I weren't going to be as busy, but we ended up being busy and didn't get to go see them. But like I said, the intent was to open up and have a season with the Alaska Baseball League.
Yeah.
They have since just shut that down. They figured it was going to be too much, and just for the safety of everything, which is unfortunate because
I love baseball. That's the unfortunate thing. I
like,
love baseball.
Like in Coach's interview, like I said, the interview was me. Eric and Tim weren't part of that, but Coach did say, that these bands that are going to come up for us, they're not going to sit here for 2 weeks and then do a concert and then go home. They're not going to be able to do that, but they did lift the travel ban on quarantining for 2 weeks. You can come to town and not stay quarantined for 2 weeks, but you have to be tested before you come to the state. when you fly in. So that did get lifting. That may be change. That may change a few things on these up and coming concerts where, like the backyard barbecue was supposed to be in June.
Holding out for that. It sounds like.
but I think they're going to move it to August. So we'll see when August comes, when that happens. But also, the Alaska State Fair, for the first time since World War II, has shut the doors and said we're not going to have a fair this year. So, there's a whole lot of stuff being changed.
That one.
I did hear that the Bear Paw Festival is still going to go on.
It is, but they are not going to have the parade. They're still going to have the rides.
The parade. Yeah, that's going to say.
Yeah, we're not going to have everybody shoulder to shoulder down, down the old Glen and down through Business Boulevard there in Eagle River. I've not seen the parade. I don't know the route, but that's, as far as I know, that's the only thing of the Bear Paw that is not going to be happening.
I don't know. Like I said, me from an outsider looking in, or being in it, I just think that part of me feels like they've blown this way out of proportion.
That was one of the things, we have said, no religion and no politics on this podcast. And I am in no way going to try to start a political discussion. But you know what they called it at first? They called it a pandemic, right? Well, guess what? Without getting into politics, the one word I'm going to say that we could just leave it at that is not a pandemic, it's a scamdemic, and that's all we need to say about that.
Oh, okay.
Guitar Center.
Oh, look at Tim trying to get some jokes. Well, hey, go ahead.
So they canceled the state fair, and they've canceled other things, but there's one thing they didn't cancel, and that occurred on May 30th.
Oh,
yes. Well, it did get canceled, but it got canceled the
just
original
got
day it was
delayed.
going to happen.
But that was weather.
due to weather.
That was due to weather. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. Thank you, Tim. I almost forgot about that. We made history in the United States.
Well, it had been a while. I don't know if I would say we created history.
No, it is history because
we've done it before.
It is the first time a private funded entity sent somebody into space. So we did make history.
That was awesome. I know I was sitting there watching, and I was just, I watched that rocket take off, and I blasted back to, what was it, 1982? When the
Challenger blew up?
Challenger
No, it was 80. It
was
wasn't
85.
85, something. And
or 86,
I was
85
watching,
or 86.
and I was watching that rocket take off, and it went to that view where it shows like all the thrust from the backside, and I'm sitting there praying, come on, everything work right. Because I can still see it in my mind watching it live, the 85 launch of the Challenger.
Yep.
And it was about the time when they went to that view.
We should
you
do a
saw
fact
the
check.
thrust. When we saw all the thrust coming from
I'm pretty
the
sure it was
rocket,
85 or 86, but yeah.
But when you saw all that thrust coming from the rocket from the camera view, that's about the time when you saw the whole thing explode.
Yeah, that was.
And I was praying the whole time. I'm sitting there saying, please don't let this work.
That was a black eye for our country, but at the same time, Tim?
1986.
86.
At the same time,
86.
At the same time, our space program since then has come a long way.
Oh,
we've only
has.
had one other snafu with the space program that was that major that I could remember. But at the same time, you know what? Hey, we're back in space. Private funded entity has put somebody else in space for the first time ever.
The guy that came up with PayPal.
I don't know.
Put us back in space.
So
I remember when the Challenger disaster happened, and I was at home that day, and from where I lived, I could see the flame, of the boosters going up on all the launches, and I knew it was launching, and I went and I stood out and was trying to watch it, and I didn't see it go up, and I was like, oh, they must have had a delay or something. And then I got a phone call from my wife, and she's like, turn on the TV. The space shuttle blew up.
Yeah.
So then it was like 2 years before they launched again. And I remember I was at work that day, and somebody said, the space shuttle is going up again. And I worked in a grocery store, and everybody in the store went out into the parking lot and stood there in the parking lot. And when we could see the trail going up, there was hundreds of people in the parking lot, and everybody applauded because of, what had happened previously.
That's patriotic.
Right.
Well, I mean,
It's an amazing feat. You
It
think
is.
about it.
so part of my story to that is the last time I was in Florida was 2014. I went down for my oldest son's graduation. One of the places we went to Cape Canaveral, and we toured the whole facility. We got to see, the old Apollo rocket that they got, all those rockets they have. What are they called?
Saturn V.
Well, replicas. The replicas that they have down there in the, in the area where you can go through but then you go into the, section where, where you can go buy all the trinkets and stuff. The only two things, I think there was more that I got, but you can get the mission patches, and they had everything from the Apollos to all of them. The only two that I got were the Challenger, and I don't remember the other one that didn't come home. But those were the only two that did not come back.
You know what I found
So
amazing?
I've got their space patches from that, and it's giving me chills right now just thinking about being back there and seeing all that history that our country has done.
Yeah. What amazed me about watching that launch is the way they were able to take the first booster that breaks off.
Stage 1.
The Falcon. They had that sucker land back down on a drone ship. And that sucker landed, boom, perfect.
Yep.
So they
I
were
was
able
amazed
to
by that
catch
too. I'm
that.
like, in the past, those stages all just either fell in the ocean
or blew
Didn't
apart.
they have the sections that had parachutes and all that, and then a boat would go pick all that up?
They didn't ever pick up those
No?
things.
So everything's at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
So SpaceX has got this new Falcon thing that when it comes off after the thing, it has extra boosters on it that as it's falling back to Earth,
Like a drone.
it'll balance itself
They
out,
showed,
and they landed it. I mean, if you saw the picture on the ship,
It landed
I
right,
did.
right in a circle.
right in the bullseye.
Where like where the helicopter lands on the back of a destroyer or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I did see that too. That was cool.
incredible.
But
Incredible.
here's what got me of the footage that I was watching. You see these two guys, and yes, they were on autopilot. But the last bit that I watched, the footage was their cameras. They had turned the cameras off because they said, well, we're letting them get out of their spacesuits, whatever they call them, and like a few hours before they're going to dock with the space station, they'll get back in them. But they said, well, we got the cameras off. You guys can disembark of your suits but they were controlling. They were going to put it on, take it off autopilot, and one guy was going to control it probably while the other guy was sleeping. But it was all push button on a screen.
Touch screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, holy cow! Isn't that technology has come a long way, and now we're back in space again. And I can't wait to see. I think it's going to be 4:00 in the morning Alaska time tomorrow when they dock with the space station. But I'm sure we'll see footage of it. And I just, like you said, thanks for bringing that up, Tim. That was exciting to see again. And
That was amazing, and makes you feel proud.
Yep. Well, listen.
I mean, that we can do that.
it's almost time for another BEERUN. So let's just close this one out where we're at on a good note. Whatever the guy's name is, I think his name began with an E, didn't it? The guy from SpaceX. I got that blank stare again. Time to shut off the lights.
I don't know who owns SpaceX.
Oh, that's that Evan or
Yeah, it's some. I'm not saying weird name because it's a name, but
Brain fart here.
Enron or something. I don't know. Maybe it's next to the
Evan Lusk or
yeah
something like that.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. See,
there.
you go. Well, we didn't have to fact check that one.
Yeah.
We remembered. But yeah,
But no, that is amazing that yes, we can. Now we got a private company, not just
Well,
NASA.
I thought that Branson was developing a space plane and was going to take people up on space flights.
there's
Who
a
knows
lot
what
of
he's
stuff.
got behind his
Yeah.
closed doors.
There's a lot of stuff that I've heard too, and until it happens.
But this guy's
Just-
got it out there. He got a contract with NASA. And
Well, and that's one of the things I was hearing was he initially started this on his own, and he kind of went
He
bankrupt.
put-
he
he
didn't go
put-
bankrupt, but he lost all his money.
what I heard is that he put $100 million into this program to start
Yeah.
this company.
Yeah, I
And
didn't know the figure, but
They
he
had like 3 failures.
yep he
he
pretty
was
much
about-
lost all his money.
he was
and
tapped
then
out.
and then NASA came in and gave him the contract so that he could fulfill it and
Well,
get everything back in
That's
space.
because
But
his 4th one was successful.
Yeah.
And then NASA said, okay.
I guess if I was a
multi-billionaire
rocket scientist,
Ryan Newman.
then I would probably want to go into the private sector and make more money. And
Well,
so he's probably got some pretty good rocket scientists
oh,
working
I'm
for
sure
him.
he does.
Yeah,
$100 million.
There's a second career for Ryan Newman.
everybody's got a second career if you've got if you're doing a passion and a hobby and you've got a degree over here on this side. So yeah, you definitely got a second.
Going into this NASCAR talk about Ryan Newman, they are back running. So
Yeah.
good to see some NASCAR racing going back on. Don't cut me off, Tip. That's wrong. I'm gonna put me down.
All right. With that being said, this is episode 11. Number 11. We got old Snake Eyes going. And before I forget, we thanked him in the past. Dan, thanks for giving us the new update on adding Tim into the intro.
Yes, thank you.
So yeah, with that being said, let's dim the lights and shut the door and fill up the beer. This is episode 11, Upper One Podcast, coming from South Central Alaska, foothills of the Chiax Mountains.
We gotta name the sound.
Shut down the episode, Eric. Yep.
All right, well, I'm just
It's
saying.
like saying brown is the new orange.
Well, I'm just saying we need to name the sound. I'm coming from boom.
With that being said, on the
That's
heels
already been taken.
on the heels of the rocket launch, stay tuned for the soundbite.